And welcome to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Today we're going to talk about creative real estate investing with my guest, Elia Luti of Real Helpful Solutions, and you can learn more about them at the website realestatehelpfulsolutions.com. Real estate investor based here in Tampa Bay and a great friend of mine, so thankful that Elia is in studio with me today. So Elia, welcome to the program today.
Thank you very much, Jamie. It's a pleasure to be here.
So first off, tell us a little about your background. Before you got into real estate investing, you came to us from Italy, a country of my origin, a place I would love to go visit for myself. But tell us a little bit about your background first.
Right. So as you said, I'm from Italy. My wife is from Hungary. We met in England where I was a waiter, and she was a receptionist. My goal back then was just to travel while I was waiting around because I thought that that was my only way to get to see the world. So that's what I was doing. And along the way, we found the possibility to start investing in real estate in Italy together with my family. And back then we were buying houses at the auctions, fixing them up and reselling them.
The auction, you're in Italy, and
yes.
you're buying in Italy or
yes.
buying in America?
No,
so
no,
in
always in Italy. At
okay.
that time, the America was just the dream.
Okay.
Watching Numi, I want to make it up there maybe one day, but without knowing how.
Gotcha.
So we started to invest in real estate in Italy, and we started to create some connections and learn. We wanted to learn how to acquire properties before they got in the hands of the banks to help the people we were buying the houses from. In doing that, we found connection with people that were investing in Florida, and they shared with us the opportunity to come over here. So my wife and I decided to give it a shot. We came over here and we started to go for the American dream, and we've been lucky enough to connect with the right people in our circle that helped us a lot, getting the right kind of knowledge that we use today to assist the people we do business with and we buy houses from.
How long have you been in America practicing real estate now?
We came here the very first time in the end of 2011, and we started actually purchasing the first properties in 2012. So
how is real estate in Italy different than real estate in America in terms of investing and how it's practiced?
Obviously, I get that question a lot. So just to give you numbers, I live in a condo in Italy. I have a condominium in the same building with my family. So we have the first floor and the last floor, the third floor. And it's just 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And we are like 10 kilometers, I don't know, maybe like 6 miles away from the beach. So it's a kind of touristic place. Mm-hmm. But it costs, a building like that, an apartment like that would be 250,000 euro. And we can probably get $700 a month in rent, 700 euros a month in rent.
That's not good, is it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so you see what I mean? This is still the land of opportunity, and this is why we wanted badly to find the opportunity to come here and do our best to make it happen our way.
Why the disparity between acquisition prices and rents? Why are they not more in line with
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know the right answer to that question.
Do people just not, maybe it has to come down to a supply and demand issue. Do people just not rent properties in Italy like they do in America?
The region where I come from in Italy is a very touristic place. So there are a lot of restrictions as new buildings and how to build them, where to build them. They don't want to touch historical places. So that might come into place as well. I know that in the 5 lands, which is the Cinque Terre, that's one of the most touristic places around my area, there is only 1 hotel with like 6 rooms. They don't allow to build anything else. So I don't know. Yeah, probably it's it.
So if you're going to move to Italy from America, you probably want to look at renting versus buying, then I take it for the time being.
I'm looking at it the way that to make a property cash flow, you have to acquire it the right way. And this is what we specialize in. We're not the regular investors that needs to buy low and sell high. We're here, as you said earlier, to learn how to put together deals creatively that assist the sellers when they sell, and they assist us as the buyer to make money along the way. We're not after the quick profit. And maybe in learning how to do this as we're doing, we can find a way to make it work even back in the old world over in Italy. I don't know. I haven't come across the right opportunity.
Did you put together any deals in Italy before you came to America, or you started dabbling in real estate in Italy and saw more opportunity in America?
In Italy, we were just buying at the auction, fixing them up and reselling them. And now that I am acquiring every day more and more strategies, of course, I think about what I could do in the event that I was going back home to do it there as well. And I did start to talk about it with a cousin of mine who lives where I live in Liguria and has a property in Sardinia. And I said, how about, instead of getting rid of it, since you want to enjoy the income without the hassle of managing, I take it over and we put some money in place and such. So there are discussions, but no, I did not close a creative deal in Italy yet, and I haven't even tried that hard.
So you've come here to the United States and you've been putting together real estate deals, and they are creative solutions. So let's talk about the type of deals that you do. You're not the type of person that goes out there, finds a property for $100,000 and wholesaling and tries to flip it for $120,000. That's investment strategy one. Another one, you go out and find a property for $100,000 that rents $800-900 a month, and you try to turn a positive cash flow based on the rents from a landlord. You use some very creative and sometimes kind of tricky techniques to even understand. So let's try to lay some of these out on the lines. What are some of the techniques that you use in the real estate out there in the market?
Over these 5 years, if there is one thing that we understood, is that we're not looking for deals, we're looking for properties to deal with. So more than being after a property in distress that needs a certain amount of money in rehab so that we can resell it, we are after people that might be in distressed situation. Maybe they owe more than what the house is worth, or they don't realize, that they're actually losing money. We met last week with somebody and told us, I have a mortgage PITI, taxes, insurance, and such in the payments, which is $950 a month. I rent my place out for $1,000. I make $50 a month. Well, that is not the case. Of course, taxes and insurance were in the payments in that particular scenario, but then what people never take into consideration is management, maintenance, vacancy. So stuff breaks down and tenants don't stay in place for the entire life. So you hit a month on vacancy and you end up losing basically a year of the entire cash flow. So we try to explain this to people, and when people are willing to listen to us and they do understand what we are saying and we like each other, we make the deal happen. So one of the examples that I brought up earlier was the last deal that we closed 2 weeks ago. This gentleman had a house free and clear, so something very easy to deal with, the kind of deals that Larry likes the most. And we met him. The house was probably worth about $165,000. Again, we're not after the house, we're not after the property, we're not after the dollar amount, we're after the right people that are willing to work with us. And this gentleman wanted to sell his house, who was worth $165,000 for about $170,000, which is fair enough. I mean, everybody wants to get the most for their properties. And we told him right off the bat, if you're looking to get cash, we're not able to meet your asking price, because cash has its own cost. And if you invest cash, you need to have a return on that cash. So like everybody else, would offer you around 80 to 70% of the after repair value of that property, less the rehab cost. Luckily, that property didn't need much. But again, of course, our cash offer was of no appeal to him.
And that's typical what an investor in Tampa Bay and probably other markets are going to do. If you're asking $165,000 and you call an investor, they're probably going to give you an offer for like $100,000.
Exactly.
And because you're right, cash has its own cost, and that's not who your buyer is. So you come into the play here. So elaborate more on your technique and stuff.
So if you get a discounted property, there are many things that you can do. You can pick it up and resell it, or you can assign the contract, which is wholesaling it. We do that. There is nothing wrong with doing that. Just is not what we are after. It's not our major focus. So what we offer him is, we just told him, look, the only way we are able to meet your asking price if you're able and willing to work with us. And that means if you're willing to accept a certain amount of money up front and monthly payments in order for us to meet your asking price. And he said, sure guys, I want to work with you. So right there we knew that we found the possibility to put together a cooperative negotiation. We were creating the deals together. So at the end of the day, after 3 months of negotiation, to be honest, because it was 3 different scenarios that he changed his mind, and then he wanted to do with more money up front, and then less monthly payments and such. At the end of the day, we ended up purchasing the properties 2 weeks ago, and we have the deed, we closed on it. He's holding the mortgage in first position. And we purchased the property for $185,000, which is $15,000 more than what he originally asked. So we overpaid according to today's market. We gave him $20,000 at closing. He allowed us not to have any payments for the first 3 months. Another $20,000 at the 4th month. another two more months without any payments, and then we start paying him in the 1st of January, the 1st of December, $800 a month, all toward the principal. 420 months.
Now, this is a situation where he owner financed.
Yes,
then?
correct.
Okay, all right. So when somebody
he was able to do that because he didn't have a mortgage.
when an owner owns the property outright, they can become the bank and they can lay out terms any way they want. So explain how it's a win-win for both of you.
Well, it's a win-win situation, first of all, because sometimes, not all the time, and you say that in one of your episodes in the past, that if somebody lives in his own property and that property is homesteaded for more than 2 years, they can sell it for cash and keep a lot of profit without paying any taxes. I guess it's $135,000 per person.
If the property is homestead exemption, they're exempted for up to $250,000 of profit.
Right, and this would have been the case for him, so he didn't need to work with us, he just decided to. But for many other people, the possibility to receive payments on installment sale instead of a cash sale has advantage even from the taxes point of view.
Right, it protects him from having a huge tax liability at that point because he was not in a position to take advantage of the homestead exemption. It may not have been a primary residence, or the gain could have been over and beyond it wouldn't have been in this situation because $250,000 is what we have here in Florida. But that's a key reason why people would do an arrangement like this is so they get, and the guy is still living in the home? Or
No, we're taking over the house.
So he moved in. It wasn't a leaseback situation into that individual.
Say it again?
It wasn't a leaseback to that particular
No. The gentleman just wanted to move out of that.
So he moved out and you've moved somebody else in, and so I take it then they're paying
we put
rent?
$2,000 into it, refreshing it, and now we're renting it out.
Okay. And then at the end of the mortgage, then you have the ability to make a substantial payday at the end of the agreement?
No. Basically, this is all the payments are going toward the principal with no interest for him.
Okay.
So at the end of the 120 months, we just have to pay him off with whatever is left, and what's left is $49,000. So we are going to fully amortize the mortgage with the last payment of $49,000.
Without interest. So you've got yourself an interest-free mortgage then.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Which is allow us, in this specific case, we want to keep the properties because we just love the location and the condition of the house. It's a very solid house. It's a great keeper. But we would be able to resell it through a lease option and make money on the spread and with a balloon at the end. We would be amortizing our mortgage so quickly that there is great opportunity to make profit.
So the seller has avoided, a tax liability. You've got yourself an interest-free mortgage, and then hopefully over the next several years, property values will continue to appreciate.
Well, that's not what we're after. I mean, if they do, it's great, but if they collapse, we'll always be able to rent the property for less than what we have as monthly payments.
So you're protected either way.
Exactly. We are protecting, and the seller is protected, and he doesn't have to deal with anything about the house because we take care of it all. I mean, we own it. So.
We're one of the creative real estate solutions offered by Elia and his wife Eva Kovacs, who is off camera with us today. Learn more about them at realestatehelpfulsolutions.com or give them a call at 727-366-6916 and 727-366-6916. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back from the break, we'll talk a little bit more specifically about some of the other ways that he can help borrowers in distressed situations and more about creative real estate solutions on That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Hi, Jackie Skelton from JR World Travel here. If you travel, you need a licensed professional travel consultant, not a computer. Your licensed professional consultant can get you more for your time and your money. Value for your money and experience, not marketing salesmanship. When you're sick, you call the doctor. When you need legal advice, you call an attorney. So the next time you want to go on any type of travel, call your licensed professional travel consultant who actually represents you. We specialise in group travel, family reunions, weddings, to escorting large groups or making special arrangements for the disabled. Please call 844-249-0190. We are a full-service travel consultancy offering worldwide concierge service. Air, land, sea, rivers, resorts, locally, nationally and internationally. Remember that number, 844-249-0190.
And welcome back to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where real estate becomes show business on this program, as we're talking with Elia Luti and his wife, Eva Kovacs, who is off camera. They are creative real estate investors, and we're talking in that last segment about how to use creative real estate techniques to get into properties that you otherwise wouldn't get into. So, Elia, in that last situation, the person was, free and clear. They didn't have a mortgage. But you can also help people who have mortgages. So, talk to us about a situation that you could help somebody where they have a mortgage in place.
Sure. In more than one scenarios. Actually, our very first creative deal was done that way. The gentleman who sold us his house was owing more, the mortgage balance was higher than the value of the property. So what we were able to do in that scenario was giving them some money to get the option to purchase the property down the road. There are different ways of doing it. It can be a lease option or a subject to, based on what are the priorities and the needs of the seller. And we were able to work either way. In that specific case, the gentleman just didn't want to deal with the house anymore because it was a house that he was renting out and the tenant was moving out. And he just didn't want to go through the pain to find another tenant or fix up the property. And at the same time, he wouldn't have been able to sell it to the open market unless he would have come up with some money at the closing.
Right, it was worth more than what he owed.
Exactly.
Or he owed more than, he owed inverse, right.
So that why it was a win-win situation for us as buyers and for him as seller, because we were able to give him some money instead of having him lose some, and we stepped into the deal with very little of our own money, and we rented that property out for the first 2 years. And removing taxes, insurance, management, and vacancy, we were able to cash flow about $200 a month net. Over 2 years, we got back more than the money that we put down. And then we wanted to cash in the equity that we acquired during those years, during those first 2 years. And since we didn't want to sell the house, we went to various investor meetings where we have a lot of friends that do the same things that we do. And a friend of ours gave us $10,000 for half of the equity in that property. So we got out money from the deal on which we didn't have any more money by then. And with those $10,000, we freshed up the house, we furnished it, and we converted it into a vacation rental, which allowed us to increase dramatically our cash flow. From $200 a month, we make about $700 a month with that property right now.
How did the original mortgage, though, come into play? The person was upside down, they owed more than it's worth. You came in, but that mortgage is still sitting out there. Did he just turn the property?
The mortgage is still in place.
So the mortgage is still out there. The person just wanted to cut and run at that point. You came in, you were able to then rent it out.
So in these particular scenarios, and there are different ways to do it, we do have an option on the property to be exercised, that we can exercise any times within the next 10 years. And when we exercise that option, we have the possibility to exercise it based on the remaining balance of the mortgage. So we are building equity as we pay down their mortgage. And that's pretty much it.
But at some point, that mortgage will foreclose because the payments are not being made to that bank anymore. Or you're making the payments.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you're making the payments to that mortgage. Okay.
The seller was never late, was never behind.
Okay, so this isn't a situation where they have not made payments in the last 3 or 4 months. Okay.
There are scenarios where we could step into those kind of deals. We considered one this last week, where the lady was behind on I don't know how many payments, and we might have considered catching up on those payments and bring her current and then get the deed to the house and doing a subject to kind of scenario. But sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and the one that I just shared with you is something that one of those that worked very well for us.
In that situation, did the homeowner physically sell the home to you? Because with a mortgage,
in this case, we just have sometime again.
You have a due on sale clause in a mortgage, so if they had sold it, they could have claimed full payment.
So this is what we're doing right now, because aware of this situation, we always try to protect the people we do business with, the sellers, and ourselves, of course. So we just acquired the right to purchase the property in the future, which is what an option is.
Right.
So we'll have the mortgage in place. So in public record, since in public record, they are still the owners of this property.
Correct.
And the mortgage is still under their name. We just clouded the title with this option, meaning that we are the person you have to deal with if you ever want to buy it, because we have the right to purchase it at these agreed upon terms. That's it. Now what happened is that the husband passed last year, and the lady would like to have us exercise the option so that she's no longer has to be responsible for the mortgage should anything happen to her. So we are real people. We're not a huge company, we care about the people we do business with, and we care of how we do it. So for this reason, just on Monday, we decided that we're going to put this property on the market because we want to make sure that we're able to pay off the mortgage. We could refinance it, but probably we wouldn't be able to get as good as terms as that are in place now, so our cash flow would decrease. So since we want to have these ladies back and not leave her in trouble with a mortgage to be paid in case anything happens to her, we're just going to sell the house and pay off the mortgage. The scenario would be this. As of right now, we're just taking care of the property. The bank could, but there is no reason why they should, call the loan due. What happened is that since she's alone now, if she's going to pass, then we would have to go through probate to get the deed and becomes the owner according to the deal that we have with the option. But after 3 months or so, at that point, the bank would definitely call the loan due because they see that the originator of the mortgage is no longer in place. So the bank is going to say, well, I gave the money to this person, but that person no longer owns the house, so I want my money back. So to avoid to find ourselves in an uncomfortable situation and make sure that the lady is comfortable with her current situation, we're going to exercise our option ahead of time just to...
Now, does this add, on your end, legal bills, though? I mean, is that not a cost?
Well, as of right now, we're making money cash flow-wise, which has these kind of advantages. If we're going to exercise the option, we're going to cash in and pay taxes on the chunk of money that we will be receiving. But, it's part of the game. It's fine. It's better to pay taxes and make money than not have to pay taxes and make no money. So
what is the ideal situation or ideal type of property, whether a person owns it free and clear and you did what you did in the first segment, or somebody who has a mortgage? Is there a certain, scenario that works well with your type of creative real estate techniques, or is every deal different?
Every deal is different because every person is different. And as I said earlier, we're not after a specific kind of property, a specific kind of neighborhood. We're after making deals with people that are willing to work with us. That's all we want. And we do buy houses for cash. We do sell houses. We do fix and flip. Mainly, we like to hold on to properties because that is what allows us to help people in acquiring properties because we can create relationships. We did a transaction with a person that referred us to one of his friends and bought a house from one of his friends. We bought the car that I'm driving, we got it from the same person we got a house from. So it's building relationships. And people are talking with other people. So the more we do better with people, the more people we'll do better with.
Right.
So it's not about parameters, numbers, or where to get the property from. Is every single scenario, every single person, and try to find the most beneficial solution for everybody involved. And we're able to do that because we're very creative, and we have people behind us that are really eager to help as much as we do, but just they don't want to go out there and hit the bushes to find all these people. So
if somebody's listening and they're in a distressed situation, first off, does it matter what state they're in? Or do you just work in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, we mainly do Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough in this order because, as I said, it's just...
But in every market, there are people that are involved in creative real estate techniques, and so people, that are in distressed situations shouldn't necessarily fret because, there are people out there that can, arrange some type of an agreement with them. Now, obviously, real estate is also, known for, scams and people that are unscrupulous and stuff. How do you work against that, type of reputation when you go and you talk to borrowers who are in distressed situations?
The best thing we realize is just sitting down at the table with people, let them know us, let them understand who we are and what we do. That's why I love to take the opportunity of this. I love to take the chance of these opportunities and introduce myself. I've been on radio with you several times because we have trouble like everybody else in getting in touch these people that want to work with us, that have the possibility to work with us. We mail out letters, we knock on doors, we drive for dollars, we do everything that we can possibly do. But unless we sit down at the table with somebody, it's really difficult to understand if that somebody will be able and willing to work with you. So the only way to go around the scam is make them understand that we're doing everything we can legally to make everybody benefiting from.
Right, and a lot of unscrupulous real estate investors don't come into your home.
I mean, even the example that I just gave you. I mean, who would exercise an option that he has for 10 years, 5 years earlier, just to help the person that is on the other side of the table?
Yeah.
We do that. We do that because we care about making money, but we care about the people we work with, the person that is allowing us to make money. I mean, this is what business is about. It's not just the cha-ching.
Right.
It's about relationship, walking into the street and, I mean, it's amazing. People are treating us like member of their family after we do business with them. Just it is difficult to break through, breach, to allow us to become that point of reference that then we become for these people.
Now, you've learned a lot of your real estate techniques here from the vibrant Tampa Bay investing community resource that you go to, investment groups. Talk to us a little bit about, the resources out there for real estate investors.
Sure. As we said earlier, everything depends on the relationships that we are able to build. And we wouldn't be able to do nearly as much as we're able to do today if it weren't for the people that we met during our path. When we first came here, the very first person who helped us and saw in us more than what we could see in ourselves was John Linehan. He's now putting together his own classes, I guess, and such, and he's a great person to know. And if you want to get in touch with me, I would be happy to point him his way. He told us about all the meetings that are in the areas. Then we started to join them all, to go to all of them. And getting in touch with all these people allow us to do business, learn from, and become friends with many of the greatest, I believe they are, such as Larry Harbolt, Peter Fortunato, Jack Shea, John Schaub, and more. So all these people allowed us not only to gain the knowledge, but when you go to their classes, they provide you with their paperwork, which is what many lawyers are missing. How to do a land trust, how to set up a owner financing deal. These kind of things are crucial. And they're just one phone call away. I mean, if I need something from a new scenario that I know might work, but I don't exactly how to protect myself and the seller, I just pick up the phone and they are one call away. They return our call. We text with each other. It's great. Well,
good information. Elia Luti and his wife Eva Kovacs, who's off camera, being able to help you out with creative real estate solutions in Tampa Bay. So if you could use their services, realestatehelpfulsolutions.com, or give them a call at 727-366-6916. Again, 727-366-6916. So Elia, thank you so much for being with me today on the program.
Thank you, Jamie.
And you've been listening to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.